Good morning. Coming up here on a Wednesday, writer E. Jean Carroll is here talking about winning her civil case against former President Donald Trump after a jury found him liable for sexual abuse and defamation. Also, an ABC News exclusive with the mother of the 6-year-old boy who shot his teacher. And could a birth control pill soon be available over the counter? What's on the table for the FDA this morning? You'll see those stories and so much more right here on GMA.
A major character, especially the way it's photographed.
Yeah.
It's beautifully photographed and just sumptuous. And it was a delight to be shooting in Italy for 2.5 months, no less.
We will still have that energy, but it's Rome. So you get a second wind, and you have to try the different restaurants. It was just so much fun.
A wedding veil on and a big sash across me. That was weird because we really were walking through the streets of Rome, and people would look at it.
Well, this is a bachelorette party, so you know what that means.
It means, what's the protocol here? Where do I stuff the dollar bills?
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Ahead in the next hour, GMSA, the FDA is expected to vote today on a decision that could change the way Americans get birth control. Still ahead, many people find themselves searching for answers about health through the internet. We'll take a look at the most common health myths. Plus, the latest surrounding a bill for stricter gun laws in Texas. Sarah Costa standing by with what's next for House Bill 2744. And TransGuide taking a look at 281 in San Pedro. We'll talk to Stephen after the break.
The deadline to move forward has passed for a bill that would raise the age to legally purchase semi-automatic rifles. Our Sarah Costa will join us this morning to give the latest on House Bill 2744 and what's next.
That would obviously create a constitutional crisis.
Plus, concern surrounding the debt limit crisis, why experts are warning of an economic collapse if a deal is not reached.
And let's look out there with live cam, starting with 67 degrees, and you don't see any rain in this shot, but we are expecting a lot more by the end of the week.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning to you. Rise and shine. It is Wednesday. It is May 10th.
Thanks for joining us. I hope you've had a good morning so far. At least it's been kind of calm, outside.
That's right. No rain to speak of this morning, but Mike says there is some fog in some areas.
And a couple of showers have been popping up.
Okay.
Yeah, just off to the east. And that's the thing, even though there's not a lot of rain in the forecast today nor tomorrow, it's just one of those situations where it doesn't take much just to get those little showers to pop up here and there. So we're not going to have the real widespread rain, but the other thing to keep in mind, anything that may pop up, you could have a decent downpour just because we've got so much moisture hanging around here. This is what it looks like on radar right now. Obviously, down there along the coast, heading over toward Houston, we've got the really, really heavy stuff. But just in the past, again, half an hour, 45 minutes. Some of these have started to pop up right there around just past Hallettsville, Cuero, Yorktown, Kennedy. A couple of those showers here and there. A few more right around Wilson County. And notice how this little cell tried to pop up right there, heading up toward Floresville and sort of kind of fizzling on out. Then a little bit further up to the north, we've got a couple of these in between Schertz, Seguin, just a few of these moving in toward Luling. So just a brief little shower here and there. Even it looks like a couple over there by New Braunfels, and everything is sliding off to the northeast. And then further off to the west, there have been a few little sprinkly showers here and there. Again, one or two of these showers popping up around here. A decent little rain, doesn't last very long at all. Some fog, not bad though. Hints of it around Port SA. Bernie Stage was actually down to about 1.5 miles visibility, but it has improved slightly in thicker fog heading out in western portions of the hill country. Mid-upper 60s, temperatures are within range of normal, and we've got a lot of humidity out there, and with all that moisture in the ground, that's what's helping out with some of this fog as well. Mold is on the high side, no surprise there. Light amounts of grass and pigweed. The updated count comes out about 7:30 or so this morning. 76 at noon, 85 high temperature today. Once again, one or two stray showers out there. Pretty much the same thing tomorrow. Even a little bit warmer, upper 80s, some 90s around the area. Then we got to be on the lookout, especially late Friday, early Saturday. That right now is where the focus is on, and the heaviest rain is going to be at that time. But overall, it is going to be a pretty wet weekend. But Saturday's the day we have to be on the lookout. Details on that coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Stephen, any problems out there?
Well, we're keeping an eye on some of that fog, Mike, but it doesn't seem to be causing an impact for drivers drivers, at least just yet. We have approached 6 a.m., so we know we have a lot more folks. Check it out, 90 at Medio Creek. We have a lot of people that are hitting the roadways, getting the day started early with us. But I don't see any major issues that are reported that are slowing folks down. But take it easy out there because it looks like we are getting a little bit busier as the roads do get a little bit more crowded with folks. And watch out here, 35 northbound. We have a stalled vehicle there as you approach Olympia Parkway. Again, this is not causing any issues, but just something to be aware of if you're traveling a little bit north along 35, a little bit for past 604. You can see that we're still in the green, thankfully, but make sure to move over or slow down. Hopefully there's a TxDOT Hero truck out there to help that driver out. Now, wide look at the map really shows the same story, but I guarantee you in the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to start to see a little bit more of that congestion creep in there. But thankfully, the roads are pretty open, but getting a little bit busier. So now would be a great time to maybe hit the roadways and head to the downtown area. If you're traveling in from Pleasanton, I-37 northbound should be about a 28-minute drive time. And for our friends in Castroville, you know that time it is 30 minutes. So it would be a perfect opportunity to head to the Alamo City right now. And 35 northbound should be about a 16-minute commute if you're traveling in from Lytle. But back here on TransGuide, things are moving along just fine, but we're going to have an update on some of those road closures, and we'll keep a close eye here on 90 and some of that fog and see how it impacts the commute. Mark.
Thank you, Stephen. New details this morning, a story we've been following very closely. A bill for stricter gun laws in Texas has been left off the Texas House agenda.
Our Sarah Costa joins us now in the newsroom with the latest developments overnight on House Bill 2744. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Mark and staff. And that impact of the news is being felt this morning, especially by the families of the victims, the Robb Elementary shooting. That bill would raise the age to legally buy semi-automatic rifles, but it has lost its newfound momentum since it missed an important deadline. So barring an unexpected development, the delay likely ends the bill's chances of becoming law. Following the deadly shooting in an Allen shopping mall, a House committee unexpectedly advanced legislation in an 8-5 vote that included 2 Republicans supporting it. But that left little time for the bill to be added to the House's calendar. Tomorrow is the last day the House can pass bills, and the chamber's agenda must be approved 36 hours ahead when they meet. That created a deadline of 10 last night. When that hour arrived, House Bill 2744 was still not on the list. Supporters of the bill, mainly parents of children who died at Robb Elementary, pushed until the very end. We have all the details on KSAT.com. Just look for this story on our homepage. Mark and Steph.
Thank you, Sarah. One person is dead following a crash on the city's northwest side last night. This happened at Grissom and Old Grissom near Culebra Road. That is where police say the driver of one vehicle crashed into another. The details are still limited, but officers tell us that the wet roads may have played a factor in this crash.
Bexar County Sheriff's Office now looking for suspects responsible for killing cattle across the county because they've determined the killings are indeed related. At least 3 cows have been killed in separate parts of Bexar County after they were shot last month. Not been any more reports of cattle killings since then.
Debt limit showdown continues this morning with the U.S. getting closer to what would be an unprecedented default. Negotiations between both parties appear to remain at a standstill. The Treasury Department says a catastrophic default could be about 3 weeks away if no deal is made, negatively affecting Social Security payments, the stock market, and interest rates. President Biden says he is looking at using the 14th Amendment to raise the limit without congressional approval.
Everyone in the meeting understood the risk of default. Our economy would fall into a significant recession. It would devastate retirement accounts, increase borrowing costs.
And you can look for the latest on this story coming up on Good Morning America, starting at 7.
We are just hours away before Title 42 is set to expire. Hundreds of U.S. troops have arrived at the southern border. Border officials predict up to 10,000 people will try to cross the border each day. Places as far north and northeast as Chicago and New York have declared emergencies. In El Paso, ICE agents are telling migrants living on the streets to pack up and get processed or face deportation. To deal with the surge, the White House has promised stricter asylum rules and new processing centers in Latin America.
Federal prosecutors have filed criminal charges against New York Representative George Santos. The congressman made headlines last year when it came to light. He lied about his education and work history. Then new allegations surfaced about him breaking campaign finance laws, masterminding a credit card scheme, and even stealing money meant for an Iraq War veteran's dying dog. Santos has denied the serious accusations, but admitted to lying on his resume. The charges against him are still sealed, and it's not clear exactly what they are related to. The House Ethics Committee is currently investigating him.
Home prices all over the place, all across the country. Nationally, according to the National Association of Realtors, the median price of an existing single-family home fell 0.2%. And while prices are still rising in parts of the Northeast, Midwest, and South, Western areas saw a slide. Median prices in San Francisco down over 14%. Austin and Boise were down more than 10%.
Despite a security fix that was supposed to deal with a problem that made it easier to steal some Hyundai and Kia cars, new numbers show sharp increases in thefts of those vehicles in several cities.
609, 67 degrees.
Major decision involving women's health this morning could change the way women get birth control. What experts are saying about that and new recommendations for mammogram screenings.
Outside with Live Cam, of course, we celebrate our moms every day, but this is a big weekend coming up. A lot of celebrations and activities are planned for mothers all around, and Mike says you need to factor the weather into your Mother's Day weekend plans.
Big news this morning involving women's health and a big decision that could change the way Americans get birth control. Also, new recommendations for breast cancer screenings.
Sarah Costa joins us now with why doctors are urging women to get it done 10 years earlier than the prior recommendations. Sarah?
Good morning, Mark and Steph. Yeah, today FDA advisors are expected to vote on whether to recommend what would be the country's first over-the-counter birth control pill. This news comes as pressure to make birth control pills available over the counter since Roe v. Wade was overturned. Advocates want a specific birth control pill. It's called Opill. They want to make it available to people of any age without a prescription,
so that they can access contraception more easily and be able to make those decisions that they want to make about their health and their families.
If advisors recommend the pill, it would head to the FDA for approval. Meanwhile, another major headline involving women's health, a federal task force is drafting new recommendations for breast cancer screening, saying most women should begin mammograms at age 40. That's 10 years earlier than prior recommendations. And that's because doctors are seeing higher rates of breast cancer among younger women. The guidelines will become official after a public comment period. We'll keep an eye on this developing story. Mark and Steph.
Thanks, Sarah.
Time now, 6:14. Let's check back with Stephen Cavazos.
It's not been a bad morning over here, thankfully. Roads have been pretty quiet, but getting a little bit busier as the commute starts shaping up. More folks out there attended Pro Band and attended Days of Volley. But not a bad shot there. East and westbound lanes look pretty much like they're in the clear. But there, 35 southbound at Main, both the upper and lower levels are just getting a little bit busier. But we're not seeing a whole lot of congestion out there. But as I mentioned, as we get closer to the start of morning rush, we'll see a little bit more of that red take over our map. Quick reminder, though, here off US 281, we actually have that asphalt work taking place. So just plan your commute ahead of time. This does start at 9 in the morning, and it should take us all the way up until 3 in the afternoon. That work will continue all the way up until Mother's Day, May 14th. Alternating lane closures on the frontage road in both directions. That's right there at Bulverde Road. But if you're traveling through 281, you may have already encountered a lot of the road work that takes place out there. But thankfully, we're not seeing any issues back here in town. As you take a look at 281 right by the airport, things have been moving along just fine for this Wednesday morning.
Thanks for the update.
All right, going to roll the school bus, and you said there was a report out of Nixon Smiley. There's a couple of these little spots that have popped up with rain and a decent downpour, so the bus is delayed about
50 minutes.
One related to heavy rain issues.
Yeah.
That's between San Antonio and Cuero.
And again, it's these little spots. I'm going to show you radar in just a second. So they come down pretty good. Still got a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. Other than that, it's in kind of a lull period for the next couple of days, other than a stray shower or two. 68 degrees this morning, couple of patches of fog. And then one or two of those showers this afternoon could have a decent downpour with it, but they will be very few and far between. All right, take a look at yesterday. Once again, we had some of those pretty good storms that popped up in the afternoon, and then a few rainbows here and there. A lot of folks got a picture of that. Thank you very much for that. I want to jump ahead very quickly and going in toward next weekend, late next week, next weekend, and precipitation outlook from the Climate Prediction Center does have a better than average chance for precipitation, as well as temperatures, a much better than average chance of being below normal. And this is going in through the 20th, which would be a week from Saturday. And as far as then Beyond that, 18th through the 24th, still a slightly better than average chance for some precipitation and a better than average chance for lower than normal temperatures. So wet and kind of cool. Great news. Got some fog out there toward Rock Springs. And as far as the rain out there on radar right now, here's just a few of these little sprinkly showers. Again, big picture, there's not much out there, but where there is some of this rain, these little spots, decent downpour right there around Goliad. You can see that one cell, which is pretty good in toward Cuero. There's a couple of these little spots right there where you're getting a brief heavy downpour, and then a little bit further up to the north up there around Luling. Again, just one or two of those little spots, but a brief, quick, heavy downpour, and then a few scattered sprinkles further off to the west of us, and that's pretty much about it. But just those few showers that are popping up this morning, that's what we'll have to be on the lookout for. And then again, out to the west, there is some of that fog to deal with. Temperatures are going to stay steady this morning. We've got that 20% chance for a stray shower. One or two of those, decent little downpours here and there. And that'll be the case throughout the day. You can't rule completely out a shower or two here and there. 85 for a high temperature, but it's not going to be the widespread rain. Now, as far as computer models going in through this evening, there's a few of those scattered showers. This kind of paints things with a broad brush, and that's going to be the situation tomorrow as well, with again, a shower here or there. Then we get into Friday. A couple of more showers. I think they'll be maybe scattered a bit more than what this is indicating throughout the afternoon hours. Then we get into the nighttime hours, and overnight, that's when we're going to start to see these pockets of the very heavy rain, especially in parts of the hill country and just to the west of San Antonio. And that's going to be then early on Saturday morning with some of those heavier downpours. We'll still have a couple of them around on Sunday, but I think the heaviest is going to be, and the focal point for the really heavy rain will be overnight Friday into the first portion of the day on Saturday. Still a few showers around here starting off on Sunday, and then they will begin to taper a little bit as we go on in through the rest of the day on Sunday. But we are looking at widespread now through, kind of totaled all up now through Sunday and the first part of next week in the hill country, half a foot of rain or even more than that. And that's coming from the Climate Prediction Center. So we'll have to be on the lookout, obviously, for some of those heavier downpours and potential flooding as well, because a lot of areas are now ground's pretty well saturated. 76 at noon today, mostly cloudy skies, high temperature then of 85. Again, a stray shower or two, and you can't rule out a decent downpour with some of those showers if they do indeed pop up, but they will be very widely isolated. Same thing tomorrow. Then Friday starts to pick up a little bit more. Overnight Friday into Saturday, I think, is when we see the heaviest pockets of rain, primarily focused right there just to the west of San Antonio and still around the area. We're going to have some good downpours. They will begin to kind of ease somewhat late in the day Saturday. We'll still have some around early Sunday, and then those will start to ease up even more so during the day on Sunday.
All right, well, maybe later Sunday, some good plans.
Perhaps. Wouldn't count on it, though, but we're really going to have to be on the lookout early Saturday morning.
Well, thank you, Mike.
Time check, 6:20 on your Wednesday morning.
Fast food restaurant Wendy's is partnering with Google for a drive-through artificial intelligence bot. Next, why it's important it learns Wendy's menu language.
Trelegy for COPD.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel.
You don't have to take COPD sitting down.
It's a new dawn, it's a new day.
It's time to make a stand.
And I'm feeling good.
Start a new day with Trelegy. No once daily COPD medicine has the power to treat COPD in as many ways as Trelegy. With 3 medicines in 1 inhaler, Trelegy makes breathing easier for a full 24 hours, improves lung function, and helps prevent future flare-ups. Trelegy won't replace a rescue inhaler for sudden breathing problems. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure before taking it. Do not take Trelegy more than prescribed. Trelegy may increase your risk of thrush, pneumonia, and osteoporosis. Call your doctor if worsened breathing, chest pain, mouth or tongue swelling, problems urinating, vision changes, or eye pain occur. Take a stand and start a new day with Trelegy. Ask your doctor about once daily Trelegy and save at Trelegy.com.
In this morning's GMA First Look, from grieving children's book author to accused murderer.
My husband passed away unexpectedly last year.
Authorities arresting Corey Richens, a mother of 3, this week and charging her with first-degree aggravated murder. Investigators say in early March of last year, Corey poisoned her husband, Eric. The 33-year-old then telling 911 she found her husband of 9 years lying unresponsive and cold to the touch at the foot of their bed. A medical examiner later finding Eric had 5 times the lethal dosage of fentanyl in his system.
Extremely common that when one spouse kills the other, they tend to leave a fairly easy trail for law enforcement to follow.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have more details of what investigators are accusing her of doing and what comes next. With your GMA First Look, I'm Kana Whitworth, ABC News, Idaho.
Wendy's is turning on artificial intelligence for its drive-thru. The chain is partnering with Google to test Wendy's Fresh AI. It's learning Wendy's language for menus such as Biggie Bag and Frosty so it can take your order mistake-free.
Apple is moving 2 of its Pro Creative apps to the iPad. Final Cut Pro and Logic Pro have been available on Macs for a long time, and starting in 2 weeks, the software will be available on iPads. Subscriptions are $5 a month or $50 for a year.
Google holding its big annual event today. The developer conference expect to spend a lot of time on multiple new artificial intelligence products. The Pixel Fold phone is likely to be unveiled, and updates to the Pixel tablet are also expected.
Looks neat. Time now 6:25 and 67 degrees for now.
Ever find yourself surfing the web for some health knowledge? Of course, not everything you read online is true. Still ahead, we'll explore some of the top health myths that people are still believing.
And let's look out there with TransGuide, looking over at I-35 and I-37. Things are moving right now. Not too bad. Also I-37 at Jones Avenue, but we're going to get an update with our Stephen Cavazos in just a minute.
Outside with live cam, Mike says the theme this morning is kind of the lull before more storms, although there are a few showers out there. We'll talk to him in just a second. Good morning, everybody. We've made it to midweek. We always celebrate that. It's Wednesday, May 10th.
Happy Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. And yes, I guess pretty calm right now. We're going to get ready for a lot more rain, though.
We are planning ahead for the coming days, especially for Mother's Day weekend.
Yes, and especially Saturday, overnight Friday in through maybe even a good chunk of Saturday with some heavier downpours around there. Now, we do have a couple of showers, not as widespread as anything like we had yesterday morning, nor during the afternoon. And as you can see here in town, everything's pretty dry, a couple little sprinkles here and there, 68 degrees, averaging mid-60s all around the area, which is close to a normal low as of right now. This is what's showing up on radar. Obviously, what catches your eye is well off to the east, all of that heavy rain. But then we've now, just in the past, say, hour, started to see some of these little spots pop up here. They don't last very long, but those red areas, and this is not really any surprise that you get a brief, decent shower coming on in here. Nixon Smiley School District, one of the buses was delayed about 15 minutes just because of that brief little quick shower. And so these will continue to work their way off to the north and east. They kind of pop up and then, like this one right here, it just sort of rains itself out or just sort of dies down, so they don't last very long. A few more further up to the north, right there just to the south of Luling, just past Seguin as well. So going out I-10, you're going to run into a couple of these. One or two of them even popping up right here in Comal County, just over the Bexar County line up to the northeast right there. And then a few little sprinkly showers, you know, one or two of them here and there. So that's it. Not a big deal this morning, but just be on the lookout for a few of the showers out there. We do have a little bit of fog as well, especially out in toward Rock Springs where it does get thicker, and a whole lot of mold out there. And no surprise with all the moisture hanging around here. So I would suspect that's going to be staying on the high side. The updated count comes out in about an hour, and more sunshine later on today. Still a couple of scattered showers here and there. Can't rule out, you know, brief localized heavy downpour, and temperatures are going to be in the mid to upper 80s. That's going to be the situation today as well as tomorrow. Friday, a few showers here and there, a bit better chance, and then we'll start to see some of that heavier rain, especially late Friday night, overnight into Saturday. Heavy rain, and there are a couple of latest runs on computer models that not only have it in the morning but also keep it, especially in the hill country, in toward the afternoon. And then we'll still have showers around here overnight, and especially early on Mother's Day on Sunday morning, and then it'll be just sort of the scattered variety throughout the day. But outdoor plans on Sunday are still not going to be a great idea with some of those scattered showers around here. How much can we expect? Details on that coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Stephen, any big problems out there?
Well, we do have a stall truck here, Mike. Let's get a quick look at 35 at 37. Doesn't really seem to be impacting traffic, but notice we have a lot more folks out there. So drive carefully. Make sure you move over or slow down. The driver of that truck does have their emergency lights on. So let's hope we'll see some TxDOT Hero trucks arrive to help the driver out. But again, this is not impacting traffic. We are going to watch this area closely, but as we take you to the map, this is what we're going to start to see more of, a little bit more of these slowdowns. And as we take you in there, it's always in that usual hotspot, US 90 eastbound. You notice that traffic's moving pretty slow through that area just before Loop 1604 at 27 miles per hour. So for our friends that are traveling in from Castroville, just to start to expect some of those delays. Let's take a drive over here because also stalls are starting to pop up in different locations. This one at I-35 southbound, right at Palo Alto Road, not causing an issue for a lot of drivers out there, but really stalled vehicles have maybe been the trending issue that we've been seeing just a little bit more of as we start getting closer to the heart of morning rush. But a lot more folks out here at 35 at 37. We'll hope for a better update, and before right now, make sure to move over or slow down anytime you see those flashing lights out there. Mark.
Thank you. The state preparing for an influx of migrants ahead of the end of Title 42 this week.
All this comes as the U.S. is preparing for the end of the pandemic-era health policy that allows the federal government to expel migrants as soon as they cross the border. Our Sarah Costa joins us live with how different parts of the state are preparing. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Steph. So Del Rio, Laredo, El Paso, from city governments to the state, all preparing for the lifting of Title 42 and a possible influx of migrants. Governor Greg Abbott is making moves as well. Just take a look at your screen. The governor's office tweeting these photos Tuesday afternoon. Those are images of more razor wire barriers being installed at the border. This is near El Paso. So Title 42 ends Thursday night along with the federal public health emergency. Cities along the border are already seeing an impact from the end of the policy. KSAT spoke with the mayor of Del Rio. Mayor Ariola tells us there's about 1,000 migrants just across the border in Ciudad Acuña, all waiting in anticipation of Title 42 being lifted. The mayor says Del Rio is opening some city-owned buildings for processing and housing. That'll allow the city to take in around 4,000 migrants. The mayor says Del Rio has set aside some funding just in case, with the hope that any money spent on the situation will be reimbursed. And you'll want to keep it right here on KSAT for our later newscast. We'll have live team coverage in Laredo tonight and tomorrow here on GMSA as local leaders there plan to talk about the issue. The pandemic era rule is set to be lifted tomorrow night at 11:59. Mark and Steph.
Thank you, Sarah. New reaction this morning from former President Donald Trump after the historic verdict in the writer E. Jean Carroll's civil rape case. Trump is now vowing to appeal. Here's ABC's Andrea Fujii with the latest.
Former President Trump released a series of videos on social media last night reacting to a jury finding him liable for battery and defamation.
The verdict is a disgrace, a continuation of the greatest witch hunt of all time.
After less than 3 hours of deliberations, a New York jury of 6 men and 3 women found Trump sexually abused E. Jean Carroll in a department store dressing room in 1996.
How do you feel?
The jury was not convinced that Trump raped Carroll, as she claimed. But the jury ordered Trump to pay Carroll $5 million, saying he defamed her by calling her story a hoax and a lie, while insisting Carroll was not his type.
I don't even know who this woman is. I have no idea who she is, where she came from.
At the trial, Carroll's lawyers argued she was exactly Trump's type. They show the jury Trump's deposition when he was handed a photo of Carroll and confused her for his ex-wife, Marla Maples.
That's Marla, yeah, that's my wife.
Which woman are you pointing to? No,
Here.
Carroll.
Oh,
The person you just pointed to was E. Jean Carroll.
Some Republicans appear unfazed by the latest legal blow to Trump. Senator Marco Rubio called the jury a joke. But Senator John Cornyn, a Trump critic, told reporters, "I do not think he can win the presidency regardless of what you think about him as an individual." Former Vice President Mike Pence, who's considering whether to challenge Trump for the party's nomination in 2024, says Americans are not focused on his former boss.
All of the controversies that are surrounding the president are just not what people talk to me about.
Carol called the verdict a victory for her and for every woman who has suffered because she was not believed. Andrea Fuji, ABC News, New York.
On Thursday, the federal COVID emergency declaration is ending, and users will now have to pay for COVID tests and vaccines or get them through their insurance. Dr. Adelita Cantu with UT Health San Antonio School of Nursing was the first person in our community to get the very first COVID shot. Now, she was part of a community coalition called Health Confianza, and they were tasked with getting vaccines and testing access to minority and poorer communities. She says the fact that we no longer have to wear masks or fear dying of COVID is all thanks to the community getting vaccinated and boosted.
We can continue our lives. We can live. We can go into parties, places that have crowds, and we now are more empowered to be able to take care of ourselves.
Cantu says the end of the emergency declaration does not mean COVID is gone. Health Confianza will continue to work to educate communities on COVID and other health issues.
New this morning, investigators trying to figure out what sparked a fire at an abandoned house on the city's south side. It happened last night around 11:45 p.m. at a home on March Avenue. That's not far from Roosevelt and Stinson Park. It's told it's possible that some squatters may have been in the house before the fire, but the exact cause is unknown. No one was hurt. A peacock beloved by a San Antonio neighborhood will soon have a new home. Animal Care Services removed the wild bird from Mankey Park after someone claimed it was displaying threatening behavior. The Mankey Park neighborhood is rallying to keep the peacock they know as Kevin or Mr. Blue in their community. According to Animal Care Services, the bird pecked two young children visiting the botanical gardens last week. However, ACS adds no skin was broken, and in a statement it said some people were bothering the bird when it acted out.
I'm a mom too, and I know how scary it can be when your kid gets hurt. I have my kids out looking at him all the time, and he won't let them get close. When anybody gets too close, he'd run away. So this makes me think maybe he just didn't have anywhere to run to this time.
ACS tells us Kevin will not be euthanized. He'll be taken to a sanctuary. Mankey Park residents are now having to live with that decision, even though they say they've all made a bond with the bird.
And teens who spend time at the Boys and Girls Club of San Antonio's East Side branch got a special surprise yesterday after school.
Teen Center got a $20,000 refresh thanks to the company Aaron's. There's new furniture, arcade games, TVs, and gaming systems. This is a place for neighborhood teens to come after school. They especially spend a lot of time here during the summer months. Company Aaron's is behind the $20,000 refresh. There's, as we said, new furniture, arcade games, TVs, and gaming systems.
We have all of the programs and the resources and the opportunities that they need to ensure a bright future. We just need to get them here. And so this project and this donation from Aaron's really helps us do that.
This is a teen center where they come after school. They especially spend a lot of time here during the summer, so the teens get to participate in a lot of different programs at the Boys and Girls Club, and it's a place where they can do their homework. Another new update includes their own kitchen area where they have an air fryer and microwaves. A new computer room was also included in the update that will be used for educational purposes, where teens can research scholarship opportunities.
640, 67 degrees.
After the break, we are separating fact from fiction as we tackle some of the biggest health myths.
.643, the internet provides us with lots of useful information, but of course not everything you read is true, especially when it comes to your health.
Sarah Costa joins us now with the top health myths that people believe. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Steph. Yeah, so get this. There are over 70,000 health-related searches on Google every minute. 3 of the biggest health myths Googled are: eggs bad for you, can deodorant give you cancer, and can toilet seats give you STIs? The answer: it's actually incredibly rare to catch a sexually transmitted infection this way. Here's another one: cracking your knuckles causes arthritis. There's actually no research to prove this link is true. What about those eggs? Are they good or bad for you? Eggs contain protein, essential fatty acids, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Also, does deodorant cause breast cancer? The National Cancer Institute says there's no evidence linking that deodorant or antiperspirant to breast cancer. And our last most Googled question: does sugar make kids hyper? While sugar isn't good for children, research shows it won't cause them to act out. And finally, you've probably heard it's unsafe to use expired medications, but this too is a myth. While drug manufacturers are required by law to stamp expiration dates on medicine bottles, the actual shelf life could be much longer. A large study conducted by the FDA found 90% of more than 100 drugs were perfectly good to use even 15 years after the expiration date. Now, there are exceptions like taking antibiotics or using insulin that's past its date, so it's always a good idea to talk to your doctor first. Mark and Steph?
I think we're going to only argue the sugar one, that making them.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, well.
We beg to differ, and we have clinical evidence from being parents. 6:45 on your Wednesday morning.
Let's check in with Stephen Cavazos.
I was just going to go find a sugary drink and we could test that theory.
There you go.
Well, you know what, guys? We have better news to report here at 35 and 37. We had a stalled truck that was reported a little bit earlier this morning, and it looks like we have a TxDOT Hero truck that arrived on the scene. You could see that first responder out there helping the driver out, so hopefully this won't be an issue for drivers, but I've not seen it impact the main lanes. But traffic is getting busy, so make sure to watch out and move over or slow down. It's always a good idea to do that. But slowdowns are really what we're starting to see a little bit more of now. Loop 1604 eastbound at Braun Road, traffic starting to build out there, moving at just 35 miles per hour, and that will be the trending problem. Let's go ahead and take a drive over here now. Slowdown reported at State Highway 151 eastbound at West Military Drive. Folks are making their way into the Alamo City from the far west side, so expect to see some possible bumper-to-bumper traffic out there. And one last drive over here, we are seeing a pretty significant buildup at US 90 eastbound at Loop 1604. Traffic is roughly moving at 20 miles per hour just before folks approach the loop, but that's always expected now that we are at the heart of morning rush. So hopefully we'll see the issues pretty much remain at a minimal, but it's not a guarantee. A lot more folks out there this morning. We could possibly see some issues that arise, but the good news is I haven't seen any wet roads out there, so hopefully that will help the situation out.
Out to the east, we do have a few wet roads, and we had a couple little pop-up showers here and there, a couple of sprinkles. So just watch out for that throughout the day, and one or two showers here and there. Yesterday, a lot of folks took pictures of a beautiful sunset, and this was down in Floresville. Look at gorgeous. That's just, it looks like a painting. Fantastic. Thank you very much for the KSAT Connect shot. All right, here's what we were talking about with a couple of showers that have popped up around the area. Obviously, the heavier rain is well off to the east of us, up around LaGrange, a couple of those showers. And, some of these, they can produce a brief, pretty good downpour, but it's really, really small, really localized right there just around Kennedy. And then we do have a few more up there around Luley. But notice how they're kind of popping up and then sort of just fizzling on out, not really holding together. A couple of showers there on Seguin along I-10, Lavernia right there, that one little spot. And then also in East Bexar County. It looks like a couple of showers have popped up there. So you might have a brief little shower, just enough to dampen things. And then that will be about it. Even up around Comal County, a couple of those showers. And then a few little bits of mist have been popping up off to the west of us. So it's not going to be a big deal as far as rain today. Just a few of those out there here and there scattered about. And that's why I've got that 20% chance in. We will see some sunshine later on today. 76 degrees at noon, and then 85 high temperature. Close to normal high this time of year, but it's going to be a really humid normal high temperature with, again, a stray shower here or there popping up. Same situation tomorrow. And there's the chance of rain off to the east. This model does have, and again, it kind of broad brushes things, paint them in. So the chance of rain does exist, not a great shot at rain. And that's going to be the situation in through today. Tomorrow also. Then Friday, we'll have, I think, a better chance than what this does indicate here throughout the day. And then we get into the nighttime hours. That's when we're going to have to watch out for a couple more of those heavier downpours that start to develop, work their way on into the area, especially in the hill country. It looks like the hill country is going to be kind of getting the brunt of the really, really heavy rain. And this is going to be Saturday during the morning hours and during the day. Now, this particular model also keeps that heavy rain sticking around in through the afternoon hours. So it has delayed things. There's other computer models that get it on out of here, at least the really, really heavy stuff earlier on in the day. But this one does keep it around throughout the afternoon. And then still a few showers around early Sunday morning, but those will start to sort of ease up a little bit. We do have the threat for a couple of stronger to potentially severe storms, especially out to the west, and this is going to be late Friday. And again, the brunt of the rain Look at that bullseye right there in and around portions of the hill country. Elsewhere, scattered anywhere from, say, 4 to 6 inches of rain. That's the total now through the weekend and into the first part of next week. 76 at noon, mostly cloudy skies. High temperature 85. A stray shower or two today with some sunshine thrown in. Same thing tomorrow. Friday, few showers. Friday night through Saturday, got to watch out for heavy rain and still some rain hanging around here on Sunday.
We'll have to watch out all weekend.
Yep.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, time right now, 6:50, 67 degrees. Glad you're with us.
Yes, thanks for being with us. Look out there with live cam, 67. Like Mark said, it's looking nice right now. Enjoy that, and we'll be right back.
Good morning. Coming up here on a Wednesday, writer E. Jean Carroll is here talking about winning her civil case against former President Donald Trump after a jury found him liable for sexual abuse and defamation. Also an ABC News exclusive with the mother of the 6-year-old boy who shot his teacher. And could a birth control pill soon be available over the counter? What's on the table for the FDA this morning? You'll see those stories and so much more right here on GMA.
And today on GMSA at 9, Science with Sarah is back. Our Sarah Spivey will be at Paradas Elementary School making invisible ink with 5th graders over there. And since our David Sears is out on vacation, Mia Montgomery is going to go with her to give her a hand.
Also happening today, RJ Marquez is going to be chatting one-on-one with the head coach of the XFL's Arlington Renegades, a guy named Bob Stoops. Longtime coach of the University of Oklahoma, getting ready to take his XFL team to the championship game on Saturday right here in San Antonio at the Alamo Dome. So tune in for that conversation and much more today on GMSA at 9, and we will see you then.
Yes, we will see some flashing lights out at I-10. Let's check back with our Stephen Cavazos.
This may be a stalled vehicle at 10 at Roland, but really that has been the trending problem that we've seen, along with some slowdowns. Just watch out. Looks like this may be wrapping up. I noticed that we have a first responder picking up some of the road flares out there, so that's some good news. But what's not good news are some of the slowdowns that we're going to start to see out there. We're going to take you in one more time here. Loop 1604 going east just at Braun Road. Big slowdown at 33 miles per hour, folks. State Highway 151 eastbound. We're still seeing that buildup out there with 21 miles per hour. And we can't forget about US 90. That's always the biggest hotspot there. Traffic was moving earlier at just 15 miles per hour, but looks like it's sped up a little bit to 24 miles per hour. But still, slowdowns are what we can expect right now. And at least here in town, the roads have been dry here. But Mike, you said elsewhere, people may be seeing some wet roads.
Yeah, and things are starting to get kind of soupy over there, 10 at 410. So watch out for a little bit of mist on the road, and visibility 4 miles Port SA up there toward Bernie, and out toward Rock Springs, 0 visibility. A couple of sprinkly showers here and there. 1 or 2 of those showers popping up again throughout the rest of today. We're in the 60s right now. 85, a very steamy 85 degrees. And again, a stray shower or 2, but very few and far between. Same thing tomorrow, but we're going to watch out over the weekend for the heavy rain.
We will watch out for it. Thank you, Mike. Thanks for joining us today.
Have a great day. Good Morning America is next. We'll see you at 9.